Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another session of this course on Islamic inheritance law, in which we shall be looking at the rules of exclusion that operate amongst the sharers, otherwise known as the Quranic heirs. Let's start off with text from the Sirajiyah. Al-Hujub ala naw'ain. Hujubun nuqsan وهو حجب عن سهم إلى سهم وذلك لخمسة نفر للزوجين والأم وبنت الابن والأخت لأب وقد مر بيانه. وحجب حرمان والورثة فيه فريقان، فريق لا يحجبون بحال البتة وهم ستة: الابن والأب والزوج والبنت والأم والزوجة، وفريق يرثون بحال ويحجبون بحال، وهذا مبني على أصلين: أحدهما أن كل من يدلي إلى الميت بشخص لا يرث مع وجود ذلك الشخص سوى أولاد الأم، فإنهم يرثون معها لانعدام استحقاقها جميع التركة. والثاني الأقرب فالأقرب كما ذكرنا في العصبات، والمحروم لا يحجب عندنا، وعند ابن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنه يحجب حجب النقصان كالكافر والقاتل والرقيق، والمحجوب يحجب بالاتفاق كالاثنين من الإخوة والأخوات فصاعدا من أي جهة كان، فإنهما لا يرثان مع الأب، ولكن يحجبان الأم من الثلث إلى السدس. This chart on this slide shows heirs on the left-hand side, mainly Quranic heirs except for the son, who are never excluded from inheriting unless due to an impediment. These are the son, the daughter, both parents, and the surviving spouses. The middle column lists Quranic heirs whose share can be partially excluded, meaning it can be reduced by the presence of other heirs. These heirs are the mother, the husband, the wife, the son's daughter, and the consanguine sister. The column on the right lists Quranic heirs who can be totally excluded. These are the true grandmother, the true grandfather, the son's daughter, the full sister, the consanguine sister, the uterine brother, and the uterine sister. Let's look at the rule of exclusion that operate amongst these heirs. Here is the first rule. A person who is related to the deceased through another is excluded by the presence of the latter. This means the mother excludes the maternal grandmother and the maternal great-grandmother. The father excludes his own mother. However, the uterine siblings are not excluded by the mother. The next rule is that a sharer who is related to the deceased through a residuary is excluded by the presence of the latter. In practice, this means that father excludes the full sister and consanguine sister. The next rule is that a remoter sharer or Quranic heir is excluded by a nearer residuary who would convert a sharer of equal degree into a residuary. In practice, this means that an agnatic granddaughter is excluded by a son, and similarly, the agnatic great-granddaughter is excluded by the son's son. This next rule is that all collateral sharers are excluded by a lineal male, ascending or descending, inheriting as a residuary. In practice, this means that the son and the agnatic grandson and the father exclude all siblings of all three types. The Hanfi fiqh extend this to the paternal grandfather as well. The next rule is that half-blood sharer is excluded by a full-blood residuary who would convert a full-blood sharer into a residuary. This means that the full brother excludes the consanguine sister because the full brother converts the full sister into a residuary. The next rule is that a half-blood sharer connected through the father is excluded by a full-blood female inheriting as a residuary. This means the full sister inheriting as a residuary excludes the consanguine sister and the consanguine brother. The next rule is that half-blood sharers are excluded by full-blood sharers if the half-blood sharers are of the same class and the full-blood sharers take the maximum allotted collective share. In practice, this means that two or more full sisters exclude consanguine sisters. In this rule, a sharer who is related to the deceased through another sharer is excluded by the latter if they all claim the same Quranic share and the nearer sharer take the maximum allotted collective share. In practice, this means that two or more daughters exclude agnatic granddaughters and more remote agnatic granddaughters. In a similar way, two or more agnatic granddaughters exclude more remote agnatic great-granddaughters. This brings us to the end of this session. Insha'Allah, see you in the next one.